Lin Dong endured immense pain during his cultivation, but ultimately succeeded in tempering the minor Nirvana Golden Body, significantly enhancing his strength. Picking up from where we left off, Lin Dong had slain Li Shang and seized his cosmic bag, acquiring a jade statue of a white elephant. Hidden within the elephant was a mid-tier creation martial art, the heaven-crushing Holy Elephant Charge. The heaven-crushing Holy Elephant Charge, a top-tier martial art of the Holy Light Dynasty, had already demonstrated its formidable power when Lin Dong had previously confronted Li Shang. Even while using the Great Wilderness Celestial Prison Finger, Lin Dong had to resort to the fourth finger strike to defeat it, which speaks volumes about the strength of the heaven-crushing Holy Elephant Charge. The prowess of this martial art truly lives up to its reputation as a mid-tier creation martial art. Such techniques are even rare within the Lin clan, with perhaps only the Emperor's Hand of the Eight Desolations, which was acquired from the Creation Martial Tablet, being comparable. Despite possessing the high-tier creation martial art, the Great Wilderness Celestial Prison Finger, Lin Dong was not one to disdain additional martial arts since each powerful technique could enhance their combat abilities. Thanks to the great completion of the creation stage, he could contend with peak practitioners like Li Shang, proving the essential role of martial arts. Upon discovering the training method for the heaven-crushing Holy Elephant Charge within Li Shang's cosmic bag, even Lin Dong, usually composed, couldn't help but show a glint of excitement. Hey, this piece is quite the catch. Even Little Mink chuckled upon seeing the prowess of the technique Li Shang had used. Lin Dong smiled slightly as he caressed the palm-sized, exquisitely crafted white jade elephant, which shimmered translucently under the light, its profound engravings emitting an enchanting aura. This martial art is indeed a bargain for me. Without any hesitation, Lin Dong extended his spiritual energy towards the white jade elephant, attempting to infiltrate it. His mastery was primarily the Great Wilderness Celestial Prison Finger and the Great Wilderness Sea Partition Seal, which was nearly a creation martial art. Ignoring such a fortuitous gift would have been foolish. However, as his spiritual energy touched the white jade elephant, it suddenly emitted a strange humming sound, and a force rebounded, repelling Lin Dong's spiritual energy. This unexpected occurrence caused Lin Dong to pause and furrow his brows. He could sense a spiritual imprint within the jade elephant, which should have dissipated with Li Shang's death, yet it was resisting his spiritual energy. The spiritual imprint inside this jade elephant might not be Li Shang's, Little Mink suddenly suggested. Not Li Shang's? Lin Dong's grip tightened as he stared at the glowing white jade elephant, scoffing, no matter who left it, this heaven-crushing Holy Elephant Charge is mine. With a sneer, a powerful devouring force burst forth from Lin Dong's palm, wrapping around the white jade elephant and continuously absorbing the hidden spiritual imprint. This spiritual imprint, sensing the devouring force, erupted with a strong resistance, even causing the white jade elephant to tremble, almost as if trying to escape Lin Dong's grasp. This scene only sharpened Lin Dong's gaze. The original owner of this imprint must be incredibly powerful to exert control over the jade elephant from such a distance. However, despite the unexpected stubbornness of the spiritual imprint, Lin Dong was not overly surprised. With the relentless erosion of his devouring force, the trembling white jade elephant eventually stabilized, and the spiritual imprint within it gradually weakened under the assault. I'm curious to see how long you can hold on. Lin Dong chuckled lightly, intensifying his devouring force with a mere thought. Moments later, a faint cracking sound emerged from within the white jade elephant, as if something had shattered. As this sound echoed, the resistance within the white jade elephant dissolved into nothingness almost instantly. This spiritual imprint inside the white jade elephant is very likely from the senior brother of the Holy Light Dynasty, Little Mink suddenly said, after seeing Lin Dong resolve the spiritual imprint. Lin Dong nodded. This ancient battlefield was an independent space, and the Holy Light Dynasty was an unknown distance away. Obviously, controlling the white jade elephant from such a distance would be impossible even for a practitioner at the Nirvana stage. Lin Dong believed that even with some capability, the Holy Light Dynasty couldn't possibly have a being transcending the Nirvana stage. Therefore, It was clear that the owner of the imprint must also be on this ancient battlefield. And combining what Li Shang and others had said, the answer was obvious. This person indeed has some skills to place such a firm spiritual imprint inside this white jade elephant. Lin Dong's gaze flickered slightly. The senior brother, from the Holy Light dynasty, appeared to be a formidable opponent. As Lin Dong's gaze shimmered, the now tranquil white jade elephant suddenly emitted a beam of light, which coalesced in front of Lin Dong into a vague silhouette. Lin Dong looked up calmly at this blurry figure, knowing it was just a spiritual image left by the senior brother within the white jade elephant. I don't know who you are, but given Li Shang and their abilities, they wouldn't dare nor have the capability to break my spiritual imprint. Since this is the case, it seems that the heaven-crushing holy elephant charge must have fallen into someone else's hands. If I'm not mistaken, Li Shang and the others might have already died by your hand. The silhouette spoke, its cold gaze and indifferent voice slowly carrying through. No matter who you are, by killing people of the Holy Light dynasty, you've invited trouble upon yourself. I will find you, and when I do, you will regret your actions. Cherish your time, for when I find you, it will be your end. Lin Dong's expression remained calm as he flicked his fingers, shattering the light silhouette. It seemed his guess was right. This spiritual imprint indeed belonged to that senior brother from the Holy Light dynasty, who now likely knew of Li Shang's demise. However, Lin Dong was not overly concerned. Although defeating a half-step Nirvana practitioner might be challenging, he was confident and unafraid, especially with the help of Little Mink and the blood spirit puppet. Should it come to a fight, he was capable of slaying a half-step Nirvana practitioner. Many have tried to kill me, but none have succeeded yet. You are the senior brother of the Holy Light dynasty, presumably far more formidable than Li Shang. If I could defeat you, perhaps I could gather enough Nirvana pills to purify the evil spirit from the blood spirit puppet, Lin Dong muttered coldly. If this senior brother truly dared to come, Lin Dong wouldn't mind filling his pockets even more. In this ancient battlefield, Lin Dong could act without restraint, and he wasn't worried about retaliation from the Holy Light dynasty. Here, their strong couldn't reach him, and in the long run, even the Holy Light dynasty might not be worth his notice. After clearing the spiritual imprint from the white jade elephant, Lin Dong didn't immediately practice the heaven-crushing holy elephant charge but continued to rummage through Li Shang's cosmic bag. However, the subsequent finds weren't as stunning, mostly demon crystals and spiritual medicines, along with some high-tier spiritual treasures. Lin Dong quickly lost interest after a brief glance and stored everything in his own cosmic bag before closing his eyes to recuperate, restoring his state after the battle. This rest lasted about an hour before he slowly opened his eyes, refreshed. This tower truly was the best place in the city for cultivation. As he recovered, Lin Dong clasped his hand, and the delicate white jade elephant appeared in his palm. With a thought, his spiritual energy entered the elephant without resistance this time. As his spiritual force infiltrated, a torrent of profound characters flooded into Lin Dong's mind, accompanied by the echoing sound of a colossal elephant trumpeting. A luminous giant elephant, towering and unstoppable, rampaged through the heavens, shaking the earth and collapsing mountains with its overwhelming presence. Atop the tower, Lin Dong sat quietly, his eyes closed and his hand cradling the white jade elephant. Streams of radiant light spread out, enveloping his entire body. Under this glow, Lin Dong's aura quietly became more stable and sharp. As Lin Dong began to practice the newly acquired heaven-crushing holy elephant charge, far from his location, in a towering grand city, a man in white robes, exuding a chilling aura, slowly opened his eyes. Within his gaze, a killing intent so intense it seemed to solidify the air swirled. Those who dare to kill members of my Holy Light dynasty, no matter who you are, will pay the price. Once my goal here is achieved, your end will come. The night enveloping the assembly point finally receded, but as dawn once again graced the earth, the rulership of this city had shifted. The once dominant Holy Light dynasty had been nearly wiped out by Lin Dong, and those powerhouses who had sided with the dynasty now showed their true colors, bitterly denouncing the arrogance and overreach of the Holy Light members. their hatred seemingly ingrained and uncleansable. Of course, Lin Dong had no time to deal with these turncoats. Although he had resolved the Holy Light Dynasty, he had no interest in ruling here. A tiny assembly point, totaling only about 1,000 people in and out. What was the point of being a local tyrant here? He likely wouldn't even qualify to participate in the real 100 Dynasty War a year later. If it weren't for the Holy Light Dynasty members causing him endless trouble last night, even attempting to seize his spiritual treasures and martial arts, Lin Dong would not have bothered. But unfortunately, Li Shang had been too foolish, provoking him unnecessarily, leading to this inevitable outcome. The warm sunlight bathed the top of the tower. Lin Dong, who had been meditating with closed eyes, finally slowly opened them. The light from the white jade elephant in his palm had significantly dimmed. Opening his eyes, Lin Dong stood up and took a step forward. As he did, a formidable surge of primordial energy burst forth from within him. As this inner force erupted, the heaven and earth primordial energy around him rapidly converged. In just a few breaths, a massive silhouette of a radiant giant elephant enveloped Lin Dong's body. This luminous giant elephant, though still somewhat ethereal, already possessed an earth-shaking might. As the elephant appeared, it raised its head in a mighty trumpet, and the strange buzzing sound swept out, causing the heaven and earth energy above the city to boil and fluctuate. Due to the existence of the stone talisman space, practicing martial arts was not overly difficult for Lin Dong. Thus, although he had only practiced the heaven-crushing holy elephant charge for one night, he had already gained some understanding of it. While he couldn't yet master it to perfection, he had already developed considerable combat prowess. Atop the tower, Lin Dong could feel the immense power unleashed by the heaven-crushing holy elephant charge, and a smile of satisfaction appeared on his face. With a thought, the giant elephant silhouette slowly dissipated. Hee, congratulations, brother Lin Dong, on acquiring another powerful martial art. As the giant elephant vanished, the sound of rushing wind came, and Mo Ling and two others soared up the tower, greeting Lin Dong with smiles. Seeing Mo Ling and the others, Lin Dong also smiled. After the events of the previous night, his attitude towards them had noticeably changed. Brother Lin Dong, we have gathered some intelligence about that senior brother of the Holy Light Dynasty, Mo Ling said. Oh. Lin Dong was surprised by their efficiency in gathering information. Hee, thanks to the reputation you've established here, brother Lin Dong, we didn't have to exert much effort to get the information. Those who had sided with the Holy Light Dynasty provided us with quite a bit of intelligence, which they have now shared with us, Mo Ling chuckled. Lin Dong smiled, gestured for them to sit, and then turned his attention to Mo Ling. Clearly, he was eager to learn more about the senior brother, who had issued such a stern threat the previous night. From the intelligence we've gathered, among the Holy Light Dynasty's candidates for the 100 Dynasty War, 20 possessed the strength of the creation stage. 20. Lin Dong's gaze sharpened. With 8 creation stage powerhouses of the Holy Light Dynasty already dead by his hand, that meant there were still 11 left, including that so-called senior brother. Besides the 8 including Li Shang, there are 11 creation stage powerhouses accompanying their senior brother, known as Jin Mu. His strength has reportedly reached the half-step Nirvana stage, qualifying him to attempt the Nirvana stage, Mo Ling said with a somewhat solemn expression. The Nirvana stage is fundamentally different from the creation stage. If Jin Mu truly ascends to the Nirvana stage, even with Lin Dong's powerful martial arts capable of defeating the 8 like Li Shang, he would not stand a chance. The Nirvana stage represents a qualitative transformation, having undergone the tempering of Nirvana energies. A Nirvana practitioner's body is several times stronger than Lin Dong, who has cultivated the Great Sun Thunder Body. Facing such a formidable body, even a peak creation stage practitioner couldn't inflict significant damage without activating primordial energy protection. This is what a real gap looks like. Even standing still and letting you attack, you would be helpless. Although a half-step Nirvana is not yet a true Nirvana practitioner, his strength is naturally far superior to Li Shang and others. Lin Dong nodded, not particularly surprised. From the moment he erased Jin Mu's spiritual imprint last night, he knew this was a formidable opponent. Jinmu is currently in Yang City, a vast gathering point far larger than this place, which seems quite remote in comparison, Imoling explained, spreading his hands. Typically, many who enter the ancient battlefield head to these large gathering points where safety is guaranteed. Smaller assembly points like ours are easily breached by demon tides. Of course, Yang City is the largest within thousands of miles, teeming with powerful individuals. Although the Nirvana energies there are much richer than here, securing good resources is no easy task. Hee, brother Lin Dong, you needn't worry too much about Jinmu. From what we've gathered, he's currently too preoccupied to bother with us, Du Yun added with a laugh. Why? Lin Dong asked, surprised. After killing people from the Holy Light Dynasty and erasing Jinmu's spiritual imprint from the White Jade Elephant, one would think Jinmu would be eager to exact revenge. This comes from someone very close to the Holy Light Dynasty. Currently, Yang City is crowded with forces from various dynasties, and they seem to be competing for something called the Ancient Key. Jinmu is intent on obtaining it, and until he secures this ancient key, he likely won't be distracted enough to deal with you, Imoling added with a smile. Ancient key? What is that? Lin Dong asked, hearing the term for the first time. It's said to be a key to an ancient treasure. You know, while Nirvana pills can be refined in the ancient battlefield, under normal circumstances, even a few years wouldn't be enough to refine the quantity needed for one to attempt the Nirvana stage, let alone 1 year. Thus, many focus on the battlefield's treasures. Securing one could provide enough Nirvana pills, and if lucky, one might also find a legacy left by an ancient sect, propelling them to great heights and making them stand out in the battles a year from now. Lin Dong nodded. Under normal circumstances, most people couldn't refine 10,000 Nirvana pills in a year, certainly not enough for attempting the Nirvana stage. Thus, seeking treasures is a common strategy, though some more ruthless individuals opt for plunder. But to succeed in such endeavors, one needs sufficient strength. Otherwise, instead of gaining, one might end up completely robbed, just like the unfortunate Li Shang and others. I wonder what treasures that ancient trove might contain. Lin Dong mused, his interest piqued. After all, he too needed a large amount of Nirvana pills to attempt the Nirvana stage, and with his current level at the great completion of the creation stage, it wouldn't be long before he made his attempt. But first, he needed enough Nirvana pills. What's in the ancient trove isn't entirely clear to us, but from the information we've obtained, Jinmu seems to be after something specific inside it. Imoling said, What is it? It's called the Life and Death Reincarnation Pill? Banshan scratched his head, somewhat unsure. Life and Death Reincarnation Pill? Lin Dong was momentarily stunned, hearing of this pill for the first time. But as he was about to nod nonchalantly, a voice almost roaring in nature suddenly erupted in his mind. Life and Death Reincarnation Pill? That's a pill forged by a super-powerful being who has comprehended the realm of life and death, painstakingly condensed. A single pill represents one life, capable of averting a mortal crisis. If I could obtain this pill, I could reforge my body, escape my demon spirit state, and return to my peak. It's just a matter of time. Lin Dong, you must help me this time. You must. If I can get that life and death reincarnation pill, I truly have a chance at rebirth. The roar in his mind nearly overwhelmed Lin Dong. He knew it was Little Mink's voice. What shook him was that since knowing Little Mink, this was the first time he had seen him so agitated and out of sorts. Clearly, the so-called life and death reincarnation pill was extremely important to him. Don't rush, take it slow. I'll do my best to help you, Lin Dong replied after a moment, mentally chuckling bitterly. Although he didn't even know what the ancient trove was, he still readily agreed. Not out of courtesy, but a genuine promise. Over the years, Lin Dong had come to regard Little Mink as an indispensable friend. Without Little Mink, there likely wouldn't be the Lin Dong of today. Little Mink had helped him immensely, and now that it needed Lin Dong's help, he would not hesitate to assist. Damn, you're a loyal one, kid. Lord Mink didn't misjudge you. Little Mink, cunning as ever, was somewhat moved by Lin Dong's words, grumbling with a hidden sense of relief. Lin Dong exhaled softly, his fingers gently rubbing together. He had initially been slightly relieved that Jinmu could not extricate himself, But now this complication had arisen. Clearly, the ancient key was the key to unlocking the ancient treasure. And to obtain the life and death reincarnation pill within the treasure, he first needed to secure the key. That meant, instead of avoiding Jinmu, he now had to actively head to Yang City to compete for the ancient key. Upon realizing this, Lin Dong's expression turned somewhat bemused, and after a moment, he sighed. It seemed trouble was inevitable and unavoidable. Are you going to Yang City? When Mo Ling and the others heard Lin Dong mention this, they were somewhat taken aback. After killing people from the Holy Light Dynasty, Lin Dong should have been avoiding Jinmu, but unexpectedly, he was planning to head directly to Yang City. Wasn't that akin to walking into the lion's den? Yes. Lin Dong nodded. Originally, he had planned to wait and see, but upon learning about the ancient key, he realized he had to consider other possibilities. In that ancient treasure, there would certainly be more than just the life and death reincarnation pill. There would also be a substantial amount of Nirvana pills and other treasures. If he could secure them, he might gain the qualifications needed to attempt the Nirvana stage. As for Jinmu, although troublesome, he wasn't intimidating enough to deter Lin Dong. If pushed too far, Lin Dong could simply summon the Blood Spirit Puppet to eliminate him. With the Blood Spirit Puppet, even a half-step Nirvana practitioner couldn't pose much of a threat to him. You all know that although we have a year to prepare, if we just sit here quietly, we might not even qualify to participate in the great battle a year from now. We need to take other actions, and this ancient treasure presents an opportunity, Lin Dong explained to Mo Ling and the others. If we can get a share of that treasure, we should all be able to attempt reaching the Nirvana stage. Hearing this, Mo Ling and the others nodded slightly. They were aware of this, but Yang City was not like here. It was filled with formidable individuals, and not just a few at the half-step Nirvana stage. Snatching the ancient key from the powerful dynasties was no simple task, and given that Lin Dong had killed members of the Holy Light Dynasty, if discovered in Yang City, they would spare no effort in killing him. What if the Holy Light Dynasty's people discover us? Du Yun mused. The Holy Light Dynasty isn't as fearsome as you imagine. Even Jinmu doesn't scare me. If he really doesn't know his place, I wouldn't mind having him follow in Li Sheng's footsteps, Lin Dong said with a faint smile. Hearing this, Mo Ling and the others were slightly shaken. From these words, they sensed that Lin Dong might have a card up his sleeve for dealing with half-step Nirvana practitioners. They didn't doubt Lin Dong's words. After all, they knew him well enough to trust that he wouldn't take such risks without a solid plan. What do you think? If you're really unwilling, I won't force you, Lin Dong said, looking at the three, who were not weak and could be helpful if they joined him. After exchanging glances, Mo Ling and the others finally nodded firmly. Brother Lin Dong, we'll follow you. Fortune favors the bold, and only by obtaining the treasure can we have a chance at reaching the Nirvana stage. Otherwise, we might fade into obscurity and fail to catch the eye of any major sects, Mo Ling said gravely. Haha, Brother Lin Dong, just give the word, and we three will follow your lead, Ban Shan also declared robustly. Being the leader is not necessary, after all, we come from the same dynasty. Supporting each other is the right way, Lin Dong replied with a slight smile upon seeing all three nodding in agreement. Let's wait a few more days before we set off for Yang City. However, gathering precise information about the ancient key might largely depend on you. In Yang City, where strong contenders gather, even with his significant hidden strengths, Lin Dong couldn't afford to be careless. In the coming days, he needed to master the heaven-crushing Holy Elephant Charge to enhance his combat capabilities further. Mo Ling and his companions had no objections to Lin Dong's plans. After a brief discussion, they left the tower. Watching them leave, Lin Dong slowly exhaled. The ancient battlefield was vast, and their current location was just the periphery, while Yang City was the largest gathering point within thousands, if not tens of thousands, of miles. The allure of the ancient key would undoubtedly drive many dynasty powerhouses to madness. This contest was not going to be like the minor skirmishes they had experienced before. The more people there are, the more chaotic it becomes, and chaos creates opportunity, Little Mink remarked as it appeared on Lin Dong's shoulder, its eyes brimming with excitement and anticipation for the so-called life and death reincarnation pill. Lin Dong spread his hands, about to resume his training of the heaven-crushing holy elephant charge, but Little Mink suddenly waved its paw, saying, "With your current strength, you can defeat peak creation stage powerhouses, but facing a Nirvana stage opponent might require you to use the fifth finger of the great wilderness imprisoning heaven finger. The fifth finger is too powerful. My body can't handle that kind of rampant primordial energy right now," Lin Dong mused. "Indeed, your body can't withstand it. The great sun thunder body is strong, but it's not yet at the creation level of body-refining martial arts. You need a stronger body-refining martial art to withstand the violent primordial energy of the fifth finger," Little Mink nodded. Hearing this, Lin Dong helplessly shook his head. Body-refining martial arts were rare, let alone creation-level ones? Heh, you're such a loyal guy. How could Lord Mink mistreat you? I still need you to help me snatch the life and death reincarnation pill. Follow me. Little Mink chuckled strangely, then clenched its paw, gathering a purple-black light that transformed into a purple-black bone script. The script seemed to be inscribed with mysterious characters that writhed. Lin Dong took the purple-black bone script, his eyes showing a trace of joy as he scanned the writhing text. "Minor Nirvana Golden Body," he murmured, looking at the squirming script. "This is a body-refining martial art I acquired years ago. It can be considered a mid-tier creation martial art. If you cultivate it to great completion, it's almost like a slightly weakened version of a Nirvana body. Although it's not a true Nirvana body, the difference isn't much," Little Mink explained with a smile. "Oh." Lin Dong became visibly moved. A Nirvana body was a hallmark of Nirvana stage practitioners, incomparably stronger than creation stage bodies. Faced with a Nirvana body, even the full force of a peak creation stage attack might not cause any damage. He hadn't expected Little Mink's body-refining martial art to be so potent. Such a body-refining martial art truly deserved the creation-level name. Of course, cultivating this kind of body-refining martial art requires a large amount of Nirvana pills. After all, for cultivators like you, Nirvana Chi is the best energy for tempering the body. Only through the refinement of Nirvana Chi can the body undergo transformation, Little Mink added. Hearing this, Lin Dong's first thought was that it was another major consumer of Nirvana pills. Don't worry about the Nirvana pills. If those half-step Nirvana powerhouses knew you had a body capable of rivaling a Nirvana practitioner without actually being at the Nirvana stage, they'd be green with envy, Little Mink quipped. If it weren't for your loyalty, you might as well make do with the great sun thunder body. Lin Dong laughed. Little Mink had a point. Although cultivating the minor Nirvana Golden Body would consume Nirvana pills, the benefits after successful cultivation would far outweigh those costs. In the next few days, leave this place alone. Find a secluded spot to maximize the power of the devouring ancestral talisman. I'll assist from the side. We don't need to aim for great completion immediately, but at least reach minor completion. That should enable your body to withstand the violent energy released when using the fifth finger of the great wilderness imprisoning heaven finger, Little Mink instructed. All right. Lin Dong nodded, his eyes filled with eager anticipation. Agreeing to help Little Mink obtain the life and death reincarnation pill had evidently prompted it to finally share more powerful martial arts. ****, Lord Mink didn't give you such a powerful body-tempering martial art before for your own good. Cultivation is not something that can be achieved overnight. Forcing it will only harm your foundation. Only by progressing step by step can one truly become strong." Little Mink snorted, as if sensing Lin Dong's thoughts. Lin Dong chuckled, then immediately stood up and said, "In that case, let's not delay any longer. Let's move out at once." Lin Dong was always swift in his actions. Once the decision was made, he didn't waste any time. His figure flashed as he leaped out of the tall tower, heading straight to find Imo Ling and the other two. Although Imo Ling and the others were somewhat surprised that Lin Dong was leaving temporarily, they didn't say much. After all, they had been together for some time and knew that Lin Dong wasn't the type to run away on his own. So, they all nodded in agreement. After giving his instructions, Lin Dong leaped onto Little Yan's back. The tiger's broad wings flapped, carrying them with a sound like wind and thunder as they shot across the sky like lightning, eventually disappearing over the horizon. Clearly, Lin Dong was filled with curiosity and anticipation about pushing the devouring ancestral talisman to its limits to absorb the Nirvana chi between heaven and earth. He was eager to see just how powerful the devouring force could be when he unleashed the full potential of the talisman. Knowing that this cultivation session would likely cause quite a commotion, Lin Dong urged Little Yin to fly at full speed to avoid attracting unnecessary trouble. They flew for nearly 2 hours, even crossing an endless plain, before reaching a vast mountain range. The mountains were shrouded in mist, with towering peaks that seemed to touch the sky. Faintly, the low roars of countless ferocious beasts echoed, filled with a savage aura. Normally, places like this, where demonic beasts gathered, were rarely visited by human experts. After all, the beasts in this ancient battlefield were far more formidable and ferocious than those outside. But to Lin Dong, he would rather train among these beasts than risk letting others discover his secret. The devouring ancestral talisman was incomparably powerful, and if recognized, it would surely bring no small amount of trouble. Although Lin Dong had some ability to protect himself, he was still no match for true experts. Therefore, until he had real strength, he didn't intend to reveal anything about the talisman. This place will do. Little Mink was quite satisfied with the environment. Although the mountain range was filled with demonic beasts, with it guarding him, there shouldn't be any major problems. Lin Dong nodded in agreement. With a tap on Little Yin, the tiger flapped its wings and descended onto a green peak deep within the mountains. After dismounting from Little Yin, Lin Dong didn't hesitate. He immediately sat cross-legged on a large green rock. However, he didn't begin cultivating right away. Instead, he closed his eyes, allowing the cultivation method for the minor completion of the Nirvana Golden Body to slowly flow through his mind like a gentle stream, bringing a sense of calm to his heart. This state lasted for several minutes before Lin Dong exhaled a breath of white air. His expression gradually became serious, and without wasting any words, he focused his mind. The devouring ancestral talisman, which had been hovering in his Niwen palace, floated out. The ancient talisman, seemingly eternal, quietly floated in front of Lin Dong, constantly shifting. Sometimes it transformed into various black holes, and at other times, it took the form of a profound symbol crafted by the heavens, exuding an aura of mystery. Buzz. Buzz. The moment the devouring ancestral talisman appeared, the heaven and earth primordial energy in the surrounding area began to stir. Even though Lin Dong hadn't activated the talisman yet, strands of devouring force were already emanating from it, absorbing all the primordial energy in the vicinity. Devouring ancestral talisman, devour the heavens and earth. Lin Dong's eyes were filled with determination as he gazed at the talisman. His hands quickly formed a series of complex seals, and a deep voice echoed from his lips. As Lin Dong's hand seals changed, the previously palm-sized devouring ancestral talisman rapidly expanded. In just a few breaths, it transformed into a massive black hole, 100 feet in diameter, that spread out above Lin Dong's head. The black hole enveloped the green peak, and as it slowly rotated, countless boulders and giant trees were uprooted and drawn into it, vanishing without a trace. As the black hole expanded, the entire area erupted in chaos. The mountains trembled, and the primordial energy of heaven and earth surged wildly, condensing into nearly tangible beams of energy that poured into the black hole without end. As the primordial energy from heaven and earth surged forth, the center of the black hole began to churn. Streams of fiery red energy seeped out from the black hole, rapidly enveloping Lin Dong, who was sitting below. This fiery red energy was entirely condensed from Nirvana Chi. The black hole formed by the devouring ancestral talisman had absorbed all the surrounding primordial energy and extracted the Nirvana Chi from it, infusing it into Lin Dong's body. Seeing the surging fiery red energy, Lin Dong couldn't help but take a sharp breath. The effect of the devouring ancestral talisman at full power was beyond his expectations. As Lin Dong marveled at this, the fiery energy swept over him. The instant it touched his skin, his entire body felt as though it had been set on fire. Sizzling sounds, like meat on a grill, came from his skin. Nirvana Chi was indeed powerful and miraculous, but accepting it wasn't an easy task. Even half-step Nirvana experts had to be extremely cautious when absorbing Nirvana Chi. Taking in too much at once could easily cause their bodies to be violently destroyed. Under this searing pain, Lin Dong gritted his teeth, his muscles tensing up. Kid, the Nirvana Golden Body isn't something that can be cultivated just like that. To train in the minor completion of the Nirvana Golden Body, you need to use a secret technique to temper every muscle and bone with Nirvana Chi, allowing for a true Nirvana transformation. Though you're suffering now, it will greatly benefit you when you attempt to break through to the Nirvana stage later. If you can't endure this, there's a high chance you'll fail in your Nirvana stage breakthrough. Little Mink's voice rang clearly in Lin Dong's ears, even as he appeared to be engulfed in flames. Let the Nirvana Chi flow through your body, tempering your muscles and bones. Hearing Little Mink's command, Lin Dong bit down hard, gradually relaxing his tensed muscles. As he stopped resisting, the fiery Nirvana Chi, like a raging inferno, surged into his body. It felt as though his insides were being flooded with fire. The burning sensation spread through his muscles, bones, and even his organs, making it seem as if he would be reduced to ashes. Great Sun Thunder Body. Enduring the near-boiling pain within, Lin Dong clenched his teeth as a blazing sun slowly rose from within his body. Instantly, his body became stronger, and the burning pain slightly lessened. However, despite the unbearable pain caused by the Nirvana Chi coursing through his body, Lin Dong could clearly feel that as the Nirvana Chi washed over him, his muscles and bones were gradually becoming tougher. A robust heat surged through his muscles, as if they were on the verge of bursting with terrifying strength. Above him, the black hole formed by the devouring ancestral talisman continued to rotate slowly, unleashing a tremendous devouring force. The primordial energy within the mountain range continuously gathered, and the Nirvana Chi surrounding Lin Dong grew increasingly dense. As the Nirvana Chi became more concentrated, it transformed into a strange flame. This flame completely enveloped Lin Dong, and within 100 feet of him, all the green trees began to wither, as if their moisture had been completely evaporated. As the flames burned fiercely, Lin Dong's body trembled uncontrollably. A hoarse, pained roar echoed through the green peak, reverberating through the air. Little Mink retreated to a safe distance, watching the scene with a solemn gaze. The Nirvana body was indeed powerful, but achieving it was no easy task. Even though Lin Dong had a solid foundation in his cultivation, there was no guarantee that he would succeed. The outcome depended entirely on his own endurance. Kid, if you can endure the tempering of this Nirvana flame, your chances of successfully advancing to the Nirvana stage will increase. You must seize this opportunity. The black hole covered the mountain peak, devouring the primordial energy between heaven and earth in a domineering manner. It continuously supplied Nirvana Chi, keeping the Nirvana flame around Lin Dong from extinguishing. Under this intense tempering, 2 days passed in the blink of an eye. Throughout these 2 days, Lin Dong's agonized roars could be heard constantly from within the flames. It was clear how excruciating the pain he was enduring was, but there was nothing Little Mink could do. This type of cultivation relied entirely on Lin Dong's willpower. If he could persevere, he would undergo a transformation. But if he failed, he might end up like the skeletal remains he had seen in the great wilderness ancient tablet space, though not even bones might remain. In Little Mink's anxious and worried gaze, another day passed. But to its relief, on this day, there were no longer any pained roars coming from Lin Dong, who remained seated within the Nirvana flame, motionless like a meditating monk. Little Mink's eyes were fixed on the blazing Nirvana flame. It seemed to see a faint figure within, and beneath the skin of that figure, it caught glimpses of golden light. A glimmer of gold, forging the golden body. Upon seeing the flickering golden light, Little Mink's eyes filled with joy, and it murmured softly to itself. Just as Lin Dong was reaching a critical point in his cultivation, a sudden sound of wind breaking through the air came from the sky outside the Gathering Point city. A moment later, a massive beast appeared in the sky above the outskirts of the Gathering Point, its wings flapping powerfully, bringing with it a fierce wind. As the giant beast neared the gathering point, it slowed down. Several figures stood on its enormous back, their eyes cold and sharp as they gazed toward the distant gathering point. On the chests of these people was an emblem that was not unfamiliar, a radiant holy light symbol. These individuals were none other than the powerful experts from the Holy Light dynasty.